the back, the VOD and the silver screen. Kevin and Tom and Joe know all there is to know, from masterpieces to deep fried tacos. And if the movie sucks, you might hear them say, there's no telling where the guys will take you. Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, cause we already warned you. Better watch out, it's gonna ruin the plot. Real spoilers. Real spoilers. Real spoilers.
Broadcasting from the lush but not lavish studios located in the basement of the O'Keefe Institute for Advanced Film Snarkitude, this is Real Spoilers, episode 843, The Accountant Also.
I was going to say the accountant midnight run.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. The CPA.
Yeah.
The Accountant Squared. It was right there.
It was there. That's true. That was clever.
That was a
That's
clever title
clever.
card.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
no,
was.
it was. Yeah.
I like it when they do that and it fits the actual, like when they're like, use a 2 as a letter that's random or whatever. I'm like, okay, come on, guys.
We'll get into it, but it doesn't do a lot of accounting in this movie, unlike the first one.
It counts for all those kills.
It does account for some kills.
Sorry, are you upset there wasn't more
No.
math?
I have
I
feelings.
was really hoping for more spreadsheets.
Hot off the heels of tax
if
season.
you could please just write across what did he write across in the first one, like a boardroom with Anna Kendrick when he's just like writing it and she wakes up and there's just like numbers everywhere.
I remember literally nothing
I
about
just
the first
rewatched
movie.
it like
I
a
read
month
the
ago.
Wikipedia synopsis.
Oh, you should watch. I wish you watched the first one. It's so good.
It's wild.
I know because we covered it.
We did,
right?
yeah.
And I just remember it like being
It's a really good.
fine.
It's a
thriller.
sneaky action movie.
Yeah.
That is and then this one's not a sneaky action. It's an action movie.
Yeah. They didn't have to sneak.
No,
Everyone
it's-
watched the first one. They're like,
It's funny because I didn't feel like it was an action movie that every once in a while remembered it was an action
Yeah,
movie.
that's fair.
Like it was like
Oh yeah.
it's like half the time it was just Rain Man.
Yeah. Yep.
And like honestly, like I liked those parts better.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we dig into that, let's all introduce ourselves.
This is Joe.
this is Kevin.
And this is Tom. Before we dig in, shameless plugs. Don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn. Wherever you find a podcast, you can find us while you are there. Be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. You could also...
Unless you're a slug, go f yourself.
oh, okay.
Oh, we're still going off on that.
Okay. We are anti-slugs.
Yeah.
You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group. The group is called the League of Show Sharers because we are hoping you will share an episode. People who were kind enough to share an episode last week include Tom Dowdy, Ralph Tribble, Librarian, Cynthia, Julianne, Jordan, Richard Krotzer, Chris, Magic Man, Travis Tewitt, Gabriel Lugo, Tammy Lynn Powers, Betts, Phil Timon, Heather Sachs, Edit Photo Gamer, Geek to Me Radio, Dissect That Film, Ken Holtzhauser, Nostalgia Cast, Ryan Terry, In Session Film, Ronnie Castle, Matt Naglia, Mike, and Oscar, and Colby Mack. So thank you very much for doing that. We greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget you can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/@Real Spoilers.
That's all you got to do.
Rolls right off
Yeah.
the tongue.
It does.
And then finally, if you would like to support the show financially,
Yes.
we would like you to.
Yes.
It's $5 a month, and you get all sorts of bonus content and the knowledge that we like you extra.
That's right.
Support my therapy bills trying to edit this Wayne's World episode. Just to note to the Patreon subscribers, your $5 a month really helps us, and we appreciate it. And thank you for your patience. There's been a lot of technical difficulties on the Wayne's World episode. So
Whoops.
I'm sure it's worth the wait.
yes, and so there's a lot of manual editing and moving things around that has to happen. So please be patient. It's a mess, but I don't want to just scrap it. So
People are probably like, Tom
Cone-
finally does a Patreon episode, and everything gets screwed up.
Coneheads
Yeah.
are way easier.
Wonder what the common denominator is there.
yeah, it's like, man, it takes a lot of editing to make that guy sound good. So anyway, thank you though. I mean, your patronage really does help support the show. That's how we pay for stuff, and we've got another one in the can, so it should be smooth sailing after that. But this one's kind of a doozy. So
Whoops.
Okay.
That's on me.
I told Tom the other day, I'm like, damn, I'm still working on this Wayne's World. I go, I should make Joe edit this, like making a kid smoke a carton of cigarettes so they remember not to do
I've
that next time.
offered to do it.
Oh, you want to edit the Wayne's World episode?
I've offered.
I'll give
I've
you
at
the
least
files
said.
and say
I've at least
go.
said, hey, if you want to teach me how to do it, I will do it.
They might not get a Patreon until next year.
Maybe.
But yeah.
think how good the editing.
That's
will
right.
be.
Oh my gosh.
So good.
That's
So-
all we
actually,
needed. Joe to be the editor.
I'll start. I take Adderall, so it's like I'll zero in,
yeah.
and I'll just do it till the Adderall wears
That's
off.
your superpower.
That's right,
is
yeah.
editing. We just needed you to
Editing.
unlock it.
So anyway, I guess let's dig into
I
the Accountant 2.
I did want to touch on something real quick. So our Sinners episode went up this past week. It's wild to see all of the new fan theories about this world. Like a movie that has it's an all new world, right? Ryan Coogler creates this entire world.
I believe this whole new world.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Well, we don't get sued. And immediately people are just like,
It's a shared universe with Fruitvale Station.
but
my
somebody posted it was definitely a goof, but it was like a Sinners timeline of different characters and where they ended up, and you could do all this different stuff. So it's a lot of fun to see people get this involved into an original property that's not Marvel or Harry Potter or anything,
Especially that quickly.
that fast.
It's
yeah.
a huge. I mean, it opened it's on
still
pace to
kicking
make
ass.
$100 million second week of release.
Yeah, that's
for
awesome.
an original.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I love
story,
about it.
right?
Yeah.
and so it's huge. People turned out for this thing, and it's really cool to see because it's a great movie.
It's fantastic.
I think it's easily the best movie of 2025 so far.
Hands down. Hands down.
And the fact that people turned up for it. And I thought that was interesting. We got that YouTube comment. We talked on the show why
yeah.
do they spoil everything in the trailers? I wish they could have
Oh,
left
that's
it a
true.
surprise.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was great. I liked the people involved. I would have never went to theaters to see this if I didn't know it was a vampire movie.
Yeah,
that
that's
was
so-
the extra hook that gets people.
Well, that's
That's what I said. I was like,
Right.
if you bury that,
That's what I said too.
The
Well,
movie
Blum-
just like it's a movie about old timey Jim Crow
Yeah.
America.
Yeah,
and
Jason-
I don't need to see a movie about that. I'm living it.
Yeah, but Jason Blum did an interview and somebody asked him about that because they asked him about a spoiler in
Yeah.
one of his movies
Yeah.
trailers, and he was like, "Look, we tested it.
It's-
We tested a trailer that didn't have the spoiler,
Mm-hmm.
and then we tested a trailer that did have the spoiler, and the one that had the spoiler, more people were like, yeah, I'd go see that."
That's
Yeah.
okay. It's the benefit and the detriment of art right now is that there is so much data, and so you have people making decisions from a business standpoint.
Sure.
The business people want all the data, but it's all
That's not new.
no,
We've
but
been doing that for years.
But you can try. But now there's so much data that
Yeah.
Then
they're
you have more
fine tuning it in,
more
to,
access
right?
to more niche data.
Yeah, and so now that they're making decisions, I mean, they're talking about they will. Remember, they made an algorithm to greenlight movies.
Right.
Think of all the movies out there that maybe even didn't do great at the box office, but became cult classics or found a second life on DVD or whatever.
This one,
Oh yeah,
I mean, this
The-
movie made like
Oh, the
$85 million.
account- right, yeah,
that's
it's
a great. That's a great call.
Exactly, right? So all the movies that they may have never greenlit this if it were The Accountant. The first one came out in 2025, right?
Yeah.
And now look, they did it. Someone took a gamble on it.
2016.
Right. They may have never
Oh, you're
greenlit
saying-
it
you're
if it
saying-
came out in 2025.
I see.
Oh,
I
I see
see
what
what
you're
you're saying.
But now we have a sequel to a movie that didn't necessarily take off, but people found it, and it's now one of the top streaming movies on Max.
Well, look, I think Anchorman is a prime example.
well, that's a very for DVD. that
Died
was,
in theaters, but
Right.
it had a massive life.
But
and then-
but there's always been movies like that.
Yeah,
Austin
for
Powers
sure.
was
oh
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But
Eddie and the Cruisers was like that.
But it
Oh,
would have
really?
never been made had an algorithm told them this won't take off in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Like,
so
this will. Yeah.
that's the problem. And so now they let Ryan Coogler, they gave him, like we talked about, the blank check. They gave him $100 million to tell this story. And then look, now it's already at $100 million.
Yeah, it's done.
Right? So it should make its money back here soon. You know, it might need 125 or 50 or whatever to break
Yeah.
even. But yeah, I mean, we're 2 weekends in. It's getting critical success. And they also did a really interesting deal. I meant to share it with you guys.
Yeah.
That they did a deal where Ryan Coogler gets a whole bunch of money before the studio gets it.
Uh-huh.
So it's really
No,
interesting.
he gets the rights.
He does, but I'm talking about, but he gets paid out of profits before the studio gets the profits, and then after 25 years, he owns the movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Back from
So
WB.
it's definitely
Right?
this is a black culture movie. You're not gonna own. You can have it for 25 years, and then it's coming back to me. Which I just think. I mean, and
Well, that's similar to Is that kind of the deal
Cameron?
James
Terminator,
Cameron
yeah.
has? Because
Oh,
like
yeah.
he got Terminator back.
He did get Terminator back.
My guess is they're like, okay, we'll let you make this movie. You know, you're bankable, your stars are bankable, like, you know, but we're not going to put up this movie and then pay you $20 million to direct it. You know, the director of Black Panther isn't getting $20 million to direct
right,
Sinners. If it is good, if it takes off, you'll get your $20 million. But, you know, we're going to take a gamble on it. And so, like, they set up all these stipulations.
It's a door deal.
Yeah.
Well, I
and
also, I think it has a lot to do with maybe Ryan Coogler thinking the white record label owners, movie company owners profited off the back of black filmmakers and black artists, and they never gave them their due. And I feel like he's saying, you're not doing that to me. Like, I'm getting this back. Like, you're not going to profit off of me. You will for a little bit, and then I'm taking it back and then can do whatever, which I think is a very interesting
cool. It's
deal.
a cool deal. It's a very unique deal in Hollywood where they would set things up. I mean, James Cameron can do it because he's James Cameron, or you know what I mean?
But I
Like,
mean, he had a deal.
that-
Not necessarily the way the money split, but in terms of ownership, he had a deal like
Did
that.
he
in
have a
Terminator,
deal
he
where
wasn't
it
that
was
big of a
he
deal
would get
yet.
it back, or if they didn't make a movie in a certain amount of time?
I
Isn't
think
that
it was
why
a
they?
time period thing?
I think it was a time
Because they
period.
did keep making them.
Yeah.
Remember? Like,
Yeah. Oh, that's right. But
I think it
because
was
he
like
was
a-
involved with the last one,
because
like
he
an
got the rights
executive
back.
producer or something. And then
Yeah,
that
he
one
wasn't
was
involved with
good.
the ones that he didn't have the rights to it, and once he got the rights,
Okay.
then he put his name back on it.
Okay,
Because
okay.
yeah, it was his.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
but anyway, yeah, really cool to sit doing that well. It's so good. If you haven't seen it, go see it and then listen to the episode if you haven't already.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I want to see it a second time. I keep thinking.
I think it's
about
worth
it.
seeing a second time. Is thinking of some of like how every character is a deadly sin.
Yeah,
that was
is
one. That was one that somebody threw out there, and I was like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Orlandez went to go see it after we recorded a second time.
Oh, did
he
he?
said it's even better the second time.
Cool.
So that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So the accountant too.
This is a wildly different movie.
Yeah.
Than the first
I thought,
one.
what a weird tonal shift. Like, they really tried to
huge
play up
shift.
the comedy.
Yeah.
The first accountant has humor, but it's very, like, underhanded. Like, it's just very much like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like
The humor comes from Anna Kendrick, kind of being like, "What?
the reaction
What
to
are we
Ben Affleck.
doing?"
Or Ben Affleck will say something really dry, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's funny, but it's not like laugh out loud, like yuck yuck. This movie, like,
This is a buddy cop movie.
it's crazy how they play up the humor in this one. And I don't necessarily like the tonal shift as much. There were some funny things in it, but like the first one I thought was so good and it wasn't trying to be so funny.
Yeah.
This one, like, I think Jon Bernthal went on a little long in that scene. Like, they said there was a lot of improvisation. And
That
you can
does
tell.
not
I felt
surprise.
it.
Yeah,
And,
big
and,
time.
and that's them just letting them do that thing. And like, okay, a little bit's fine. But man, when he was doing that first scene where you see him, I'm like,
in the
okay.
hotel room. With
Yeah,
the-
like it was funny for half the time maybe, but then I'm like, I get it.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
you know, so I don't know. But yeah, tonally, it's weird.
Completely different.
How they
Like
made
that
it-
first one is kind of like I said, it's like a sneaky action movie that
It's a pretty serious movie.
Yeah.
The first one, like, I wish you saw it because like it,
Yeah, because I
tonally.
don't remember. Was Ben Affleck this
no,
over the top with
no,
his?
he like
I think he changed the
With
portrayal.
his autism?
I don't remember.
No.
And I
Okay.
think the portrayal in this may be more accurate, and so he may have done more research, but he does play it differently than the first one is a little bit understated.
the first one he's very like even keel,
Right.
Like he's monotone almost the entire time. He doesn't really. He shows no emotion whatsoever, except for that scene where he overstimulates himself. Right.
Yeah.
So he's got like his dad in the his mom leaves in the past, and his dad, like, rather than shield him from the things that his autism like makes him freak out, he bombards him with it. So he puts him in a dark room with a strobe light and loud music, and he takes like this like a broomstick
bar that
kind of,
goes over
and
his-
he like grinds it over his shin bone.
and
So
that's what people with autism, some of them, I mean, everyone's different, obviously,
stems.
but you get overstimulated, and so there's things that will like calm them down, so they can refocus their thoughts on the loud music or the pain, quote unquote. You know, it's to distract because their brain is going off on all these different things. So when we saw the first movie, I didn't have a son yet with autism.
oh sure.
And so going back and watching the first movie, my
How
wife,
do you feel about like that's I was wondering that. Do you feel that they are playing it up and not and like overdoing it, or are you just
I don't
like
think so,
you know.
because here's the thing. So again, I didn't have any problems with the first one, but I didn't know all these signs and all these different things and hadn't researched as much. So going back and watching it, my wife and I watched it, and we're like, oh my gosh, we saw so much of what our son does in this character, in the first one particularly, right? The second one gets it right too, and we'll get into that. But like rewatching it, they spent so much time and care, because those characters that have autism, the first one, it's Ben Affleck's character, it's the kids at the school that he kind of
the X-Men, you mean?
grew up, definitely in this, one. It's, but they get it right. And like apparently Ben Affleck actually talked with people with autism and just had conversations with them and saw how they acted and what they said and whatever. So like I feel they put enough care into this movie where it's not just like some made up representation. I mean, we see our son in these characters. We are just like, holy crap.
What was the one? Oh God, it was the Predator, where like they made that kid. That's the Shane Black Predator, where the kid had autism, but then it wasn't really they used it basically as like his superpower, where he could unlock alien technology and do all this other stuff, and people are just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I
what
remember
are you
that,
doing?
but I remember that portrayal being a little off for sure. But here's the thing, and we've talked about this a little bit here and there, especially when we mentioned The Accountant, but it's like these kids that, I mean, I shouldn't say kids, the Xavier kids, you know what I mean? Like using them as like, oh, they can do all this stuff. But
Did you call them the Xavier kids?
Yeah. But like
this is like Harbor or something.
Harbor Institute of Technology or
they're
something.
all David Harbour's kids.
They're all David Harbour's kids.
So the thing is, though, that people with autism, for example, and there's, all different kind of levels of, in different
It's
parts
almost,
of the
you would say, a spectrum.
Yeah, I think you could say that. It's safe to say.
Dare we?
But they do have abilities because their brain works differently.
Yeah.
And so it's not like you're using them as just like a means to help or like a neurotypical person or character. It's like they are the main characters and their brains do work differently. So there was this show called Scorpion on CBS that ended a few years back. Did you guys ever watch that?
Never even heard of it.
I know, right? It has Robert Patrick, the T-1000.
Nice.
He is high up in Homeland Security, and he enlists the help of a group called Scorpion, and they're like hackers that just do what they have to do to make money.
This is why Kevin likes that movie. I like that show.
Yeah.
It's all about hackers.
But it went for like 7 seasons or five or 6 seasons, something like that. But anyway, Katie and I watched that. But that show
might be the oldest old man thing you've ever said. Is like you and Katie got into a show on CBS.
CBS.
And CBS, I always think is like the old people channel.
I think it's time for you to start taking a calcium supplement.
Don't forget your Metamucil.
We do watch it on Paramount Plus, so I mean it's a little newfangled.
We're not that old, damn it.
But
we
this
have a streaming service.
I think subscribing to Paramount Plus is the new old man.
Yeah. Well, I get that for free with my Walmart Plus.
You are not helping your case, my dude.
Go visit the pharmacy aisle. You get discounts with Walmart Plus. So anyway, this team, it's all about them. Homeland Security enlists the help of this team, Scorpion, and they all are basically geniuses, like IQ level geniuses. And they have these, and like the main character, Walter, certainly is on the autism spectrum. The love interest, Paige, who is like the neurotypical, he meets her doing a job at a diner, and then he enlists her help to be like the liaison between the geniuses, the high IQ, special characters, and the Homeland, like so that she can help translate what but they all have these really great abilities where one's great with mechanics, one's great with computers, one's a mathematician, and this team, and it's really fun. It's Justin Lin of Fast and Furious fame produces it. So the show, every show it's an hour-long show, but they go on like those crazy Fast and Furious secret agent type missions, and it's got good production quality, and it's exciting, and the character development's really good. But that's the thing, there's shows like this and movies like this that actually develop the characters, and they take the time to research people with autism, in particular like this movie. And I think that if you know people with autism, or if you've researched it, like the way they're represented really is how they're represented, and it's not a disability in the way that it's like, well, they just can't function. Yes, they have things that may keep them down in certain arenas, but they are really, really good at other things. Pattern recognition, that scene in the Honky Tonk bar,
so ridiculous.
That's my favorite scene in the entire movie.
It was such a wild scene,
because that, though, people with autism, and again, I can't speak for everyone, but with our son, he's so good at matching and memory. And when we saw how Ben Affleck's face lit up when he realized patterns and could repeat them,
it's like there's rules to this. I can follow rules,
and he learned it. That was my favorite scene, and that is exactly how our son is. We see how happy he is when he figures out a pattern or something he repeats. So the point is, as a father of someone with autism and watching this representation of this movie, they get it so right, and I can't speak more highly about how they handle.
Well, I think we've reached a point where you can't just say someone has autism and then that's it.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's kind of like representation in a movie.
Yeah.
Where you can now do the research. I was actually listening to a podcast about Chasing Amy.
Mm-hmm.
And
did you watch Chasing Amy?
I did.
That was really good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
But what is interesting is when Kevin Smith writes that movie in 94, 97,
No, I think it's 94.
94.
It's 97 sounds awfully late.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
He wrote her as a lesbian, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then Ben Affleck comes in and she turns around. You watch that in 2025 and it's like, well, she's bisexual.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and that wasn't a thing in 94. Like that wasn't even
I mean,
on,
it
it was a thing,
existed,
but nobody knew.
Yeah, like you were barely getting lesbian movies, so
Right.
you weren't going to write bisexual movies.
Yeah. So you watch that in 2025 and you're like, oh, okay. Like that's what this is.
Yeah, he
so
didn't
like
turn her. It's just that
she liked
the
she
person
liked
depending on
everybody.
who- right.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
so I do think it's interesting to watch movies like that and you're just kind of like, oh, this is where we are now. Like
Yeah.
it plays, Chasing Amy plays differently.
a movie about an accountant that has autism has a sequel. Like seriously,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
No, it is very cool.
That's
And
cool that it's made enough money where they're like, here's a sequel, and it stars Ben Affleck. The dude was Batman.
Yeah. Well,
He was.
I mean, he was. That's
Yeah.
true.
I mean, that's a
was-
huge-
He
I mean,
wasn't the
Batman.
problem. With
Yeah,
the
No,
no,
that's
he was
true.
a great Batman.
Yeah, he was
right?
a great Batman.
But like
except
the
for
guy that played,
except for that Flash movie. That
Yeah.
was not a good. That was
but
not
the
a good
guy that
Batman.
played Batman is an accountant with autism and has a sequel, and it's a badass action movie. Like it's just really cool that we're at that point.
Yeah.
where
No, I think it's
people
very
know more
it's-
about it, right?
it's-
Well, and sorry, but like not to get too political, but like to be like, you know, when I was growing up, when people didn't have autism, it's like, are you go ask
Yes,
your great uncle
they
with his
did.
stamp
I
collection
think it's great
if
that-
he had, you know.
I think it's great that he's like people with autism will never pay taxes. Here's one doing your taxes.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, that's the one that I liked is
all the autistic people are like, I don't have to pay my taxes.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
right.
There's a lot of autistic people
there was
out
one,
there.
I think at one point he says like autistic people won't be able to like play professional sports, and then somebody immediately shows a clip of Nomar Garciaparra, who played I think he was a shortstop, but like he had this whole long ass routine before he would even step into the batter's box, and it's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking
it's just,
about?
But it's ridiculous. Yeah, people all over TikTok are chiming in like, I'm a mom, I'm married, I have kids, I pay taxes, I own a business, I am on the autism spectrum. Like that whole thing's ridiculous.
Talk about an apple falling so far from the tree.
Yeah.
in the spectrum of the
of
Kennedys,
a family,
I guess.
yeah. So it's just ridiculous, and so it's really nice that after hearing such negative, harmful, hateful crap come out,
Yeah.
that this movie could come out so.
There were two points to this that I thought about that.
Yeah.
It is the autism thing, but then also they're going to El Salvador to
Yeah.
rescue somebody. I was like,
Right.
God
Isn't that
damn.
crazy?
You know, I was wondering,
Yeah.
like, can Trump supporters enjoy a movie like
I
this?
don't
I was
know.
thinking about this during the Rami Malek one.
Yeah.
I've already
Oh, the
forgotten.
amateur.
Oh,
The
this
amateur.
one's so much better than that one.
Well,
No,
yeah,
but what I
but-
mean is the idea of like the federal government, we're doing all these things, and
Yeah.
it's like I'm watching this movie and I'm like, all of you should be fired. Like none of you should be here.
Yeah.
Like the government is being dismantled. Like how do you watch a movie like this in today's world? You know what I mean? Like
Jason from Binge Movies did a quick recap of Sinners.
Yeah.
And in his recap, he was like, there was a pretty broad spectrum of people in the audience.
Right.
He's like, but behind me, there were a couple of MAGA f***ers. And when you get to the end of that movie and he's just mowing down white guys, like, he's just like, I don't know what their reaction would have been, because like the white guys to these jerk offs are the heroes.
Yeah.
There's if you're watching Inglorious Bastards,
Oh man.
and if you're watching Sinners, and you have a problem with the people that are getting taken out, which is supposed to be like a scene, right?
If you're like, Hitler should have gotten shot in the face.
like, dude, there's a problem.
Yeah,
like, it
right.
didn't. It
they
shouldn't be like that.
They structured that final scene to where,
you
yes,
thought it was over.
They're all white, but they're also all Klan members.
That's the point,
Correct.
right?
Right, like
Yes.
it's so they're not just killing white people;
No.
they're killing Klan
members on
so.
top of it.
Right. So you shouldn't be offended by that. Scene.
Should not.
Theoretically,
You should not be. Yeah.
hypothetically,
Right.
you should not in modern day be siding with
Like,
them.
oh.
and yet,
Here we are.
yeah,
And yet. So this one, it picks up about 8 years after the first one. Affleck is Christian Wolf It opens with J.K. Simmons, who was like the head of the Secret Service.
He's like a Treasury
Department.
Yeah.
Which
FinCEN? I don't know if that's
I
a
have
thing.
no idea.
I don't know if that's a real thing. I have no idea.
And
But the Treasury has like actual federal agents, right? With
Yeah.
guns and
Well,
stuff.
for
It's
now.
not, it's not like it's not like the Treasury Department is just people with pocket protectors.
The
You know what I mean?
Secret Service, who protect the president,
they're under the Treasury
are
Department.
There you
the
go.
Treasury
Yeah.
Department.
So it's like so he's a high up
I think
agent. that-
Elliot Ness was in the Treasury Department. I think that's where he started.
Is it? I
think
You're
so.
thinking of Nessie, the Loch Ness
That's
monster.
exactly
went
what I'm
undercover.
thinking of.
FinCEN
Yeah.
Israel, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network.
There you
go.
FinCEN.gov. How come I get a 404
Yeah, that's weird.
when I click on that? Hey.
And
Oh, you
so
have to disable Spanish on your browser.
Yeah, that's the only way it'll
You
work.
can't
Yeah.
access it
Yeah.
if you have that available.
you have to use a VPN.
Just got a deportation email?
ICE is knocking at
Who's
the door.
knocking on the door?
So he has retired. I think he retires at the end of the first one, and now he's just kind of doing cases that he likes to do. And he is on the search for this family, and he ends up meeting this woman in a bar who kind of seems like she's just like Ben Affleck, Christian Wolf, which I did think I was like, are they trying to build like a John Wick style universe in here? Because like at the end of this movie, there's 3 of them now.
Yeah.
So like when we first start in the first movie, it's just Affleck, and then Bernthal's introduced later. And now in this one, we've got Affleck, Bernthal, and then this gal.
And
You
then
love
all
putting
the,
a team together.
and then all the kids. You got the
Oh
and
yeah,
the,
you've got the X-Men.
Xavier.
you
Yeah.
got the the Oracle.
Yeah, the yeah.
Yeah.
That was again. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like it's. So this is a pretty good action sequence where this gal sits down and she's like, they're not here for me, and there's a bunch of like bad dudes kind of circling the whole thing. Fight breaks out in this bingo hall.
J.K. Simmons kicks some ass.
J.K. remember that scene when
He's
what was it, like,
jacked as Gordon.
GYM Gordon?
Yeah.
Man, there are things from that world that I wish would carry over. That is one of them.
Yeah,
I
mean,
wish
it's
J.K.
not
Simmons
complete,
would come back
It's not with no merit. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there are cool things.
He was a
about
great.
They kept
Jim
him as
Gordon.
J. Jonah Jameson.
That's true.
So maybe
That's true.
Maybe.
If they don't get him, get Cranston. Just pull the trigger. Give Cranston Jim Gordon. Call it a day.
Jeffrey Wright was really good as
Jeffrey
Gordon,
Wright
though,
was
too.
fantastic
I mean,
as Gordon.
he was great.
I love Jeffrey Wright anyway. He's so good.
Oh, he's good in everything.
What I just watched. What was the one where he's the author?
Oh yeah, we reviewed that, didn't we? Or maybe I just watched it.
I
was-
don't think we.
it was
covered
great.
Yeah.
We just talked about it.
That was so good.
yeah,
it was
it's
so
really good. It just came out last year, right?
I think so.
Having
I
trouble.
I think 2 years.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like an early January release, maybe, and
Okay.
it like
So
floated.
it was an
under-
awards movie.
Uh-huh,
yeah.
uh-huh. So this fight breaks out, and they kill J.K. Simmons in like the first 15 minutes of this movie, which I was like, he also got
That's
shot.
being
in the
generous.
I go, he got shot in the shoulder. He should be okay. Like even when they pull the curtain, like the
At least in movie world.
yeah, it's not like it was in his chest or
He's
anything.
not a young man, Joe. He lost enough blood.
I mean, maybe.
guess.
Had a heart attack or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, fine.
It was a coincidence. He got shot in the shoulder, but it was his cholesterol.
Yeah,
yeah,
really
that's kinda, yeah.
He's very sick.
Little did you know.
He's eating all that bar food.
Yeah,
It's
right.
all the
Right.
steroids from working out.
Yeah, he
so
was
much.
just like, I
A lot of
can't.
smoke in a bingo hall.
Well, it's also he smokes those cigars. Yeah, J.K. or Jonah and Jim.
Why-
smoked those cigars.
his final words were "Bring me the webhead." I don't know what that was about.
He's Speeder Parker. So now we're reintroduced to Medina, who was kind of like the underling in the first movie. She is now the new J.K. Simmons. She gets a phone call saying that he has died. She goes and checks it out, and she can't believe it. But everybody keeps asking her, was he having money problems? She's like, I don't think so. Why?
How would I know? I just work for the financial
the Treasury Department.
Treasury Department.
Yeah.
What do
Which
I
is-
know about monies?
That is a what did I watch where it was? Dang it! Oh, it's Daredevil. It's the 3rd season of Daredevil, and in that show, they've got a guy who's working for the feds, but they won't give him this promotion because he has like money, like debt issues, and they're like, if we put you, that you are now compromised. Like you can compromise the FBI by somebody saying, "Hey, I'll take care of your debts
Right.
if you do whatever."
Is this the new season?
It's the
last one?
last
Okay.
season of the Netflix
Gotcha.
stuff. It's where they have like Fisk in the hotel room or whatever. It's that show's great.
Did you watch the new one? It's really good.
So good.
Mhm.
It's the most comic accurate like version of anything Marvel has ever done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really good.
It's really good.
Are they going to do Man Without Fear? What were they leading up to at the end of that? Where do you think they're going?
I
with-
don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, and I don't care because I'm in. As long as they don't bring back those other Netflix shows weren't great. The Jessica
I know
Jones,
someone's like, give Iron Fist another chance.
Don't
No,
don't do that.
was
You don't give Iron
atrocious.
Fist another chance as somebody else.
Yeah, well, right.
Different
right.
actor.
I know, but that kid is like, I want to come back.
Yeah.
Give me another chance.
Sorry,
Like, no,
Finn Jones,
Yeah.
not you,
it
bud.
was awful. Go back to being the
Game of
Flower Knight or whatever. And
Yeah, he
Isn't
was.
that who he was?
I don't. Is that what they called him?
yeah,
Man, they got away with that.
no, I mean that like was his his name. He was like known as the
Was he openly gay on
Knight
that
of
show?
Flowers. I think he might have been actually in that show.
Okay,
Remember, because he was Marjorie's what was her
Marjorie's
name?
brother.
Brother, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think but I don't know that those two are related. I wasn't alluding to his sexuality, but his character was like known as the
oh,
Flower
yeah, okay,
Knight or
okay.
whatever. Yeah.
So she pulls back the blanket, and on his arm is scribbled "Find the accountant." And then
What if he just needed to do his taxes? And that was remember, like, don't trust Sammy Jenkins. Or remember Sammy Jenkins.
Oh,
don't
yeah,
trust the
right,
other
right,
guy's
right.
lies and find the accountant. Like, it might have just been on his list of things.
to-do list.
It's just,
Yeah.
that's all. No big deal.
Pick up eggs.
Yeah.
Or don't.
Can't afford
Just give me
those.
get some
Well,
eggs.
that's
Actually,
what,
no,
that's
those are
what you
getting
need the accountant for.
Those
Yeah.
are getting really cheap lately. I don't know if you got maybe too cheap.
Strange how that happened.
I would love to pay more for my eggs now.
So now we're reintroduced to Christian Wolf, and he is this the speed dating scene?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
is like really playing up the comedy aspect of it.
Big time.
It was such a jarring shift, and I wonder. This is what I am thinking now. Maybe they went into this with more control. The first one became a hit, and they're like, "We're going to change it up and add more comedy." I don't know if it was a test screening thing, but it's like they give you the action scene up front where you're like, "Yeah, we're back in The Accountant." That first movie was action packed, had
Yep.
a lot of good stuff, and then they go into the comedy of it. And I wonder if it tested like the first one we liked the action, but we needed more comedy. It was too dry. It's just such
this is
a tonal
very
shift.
like Rush Hour. Like that's what this feels like. This feels like a Rush Hour movie where you get like
without
these action.
comedians though. Like
I
Rush
think-
Hour's funny because
Yeah,
Chris
yeah, yeah.
Tucker's funny, and the dynamic with Jackie
And Jackie
Chan
Chan is also
is
funny.
yeah, and like that's a good dynamic. But this movie, I don't know, the comedy stuff. While I was entertained and I liked the movie,
The scene that got
it
me
just
is Bernthal. And I will say, casting these two guys as brothers,
they had great chemistry.
but like
yeah.
I could see them be like they kind of look enough alike where like they could be brothers, but they also had great chemistry. There's the scene where they're both sitting on top of the Airstream, and Affleck's like rubbing his, putting sunscreen on his knees.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
Bernthal's
what
just
is definitely not a green screen.
absolutely not, 100%.
Oh.
Yeah. Bernthal's like, hey, let me see that, and he takes it and he just like chucks it, and he just starts.
I don't like that.
And just the way they're like
Yeah.
that felt like a very brotherly
yeah,
interaction.
I think they had a really good dynamic. I liked the two of those actors, and it came off as brothers.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot.
Yeah, I did too. But they also had good like emotional beats. I like this. I like the scene. Again, it's the same scene actually where Bernthal basically says, "Is it you or is it me?" And Affleck's like, "What are you talking about?"
That was a really good scene.
But he's basically like, "You're my brother, but I never hear from you."
Mhm.
And then like, is that because? And Bernthal's basically like, "Is that because I'm an asshole, or is it because of your condition?"
Yeah.
And Affleck's like, "Yeah,
No, Affleck says I'm just me.
yeah." But
And
but he also, I mean, yes. And it's a touching moment where, but I talked to people about this. Bernthal has like, he is what I feel like masculinity should be, where he does come off as like a take no,
Yeah.
has
He's tough, but
no
it's like
problem
he's a
punching
nice-
you in the face.
Yeah, but he's a
then
nice
you see
person.
him
He's a-
like
yeah.
with a trans flag over his shoulders and
Yeah.
like the inclusion, and then he in these movies, right? I think he is able to be the guy in the bar where he's he sees his brother about to get in a fight and he is like jumping over people to get into the fight. Can't wait to fight these guys.
After being like, yeah, that's my brother. I love that. Again, it's just so touching. Like that
But
scene.
he is talking about his feelings and his
Yeah.
emotions, where
Mhm.
he's just like, is it I love you? Like, is it me? Is it you? Like, where
yeah, I
so-
agree. I think that's a great representation of masculinity.
Yeah. Without being, the Punisher is kind of a toxic
Dude,
masculine.
and in that show, and you haven't watched it yet, right?
The Punisher?
The new season on
Daredevil. I haven't watched. Actually, I never
Well,
got around to watching any of
kinda
it.
Oh, you didn't
recommended
watch
enough.
dude, it's the best thing
Daredevil's
they've
the-
done.
Daredevil is
You've got to
incredible.
just go. The Netflix stuff was amazing, and the Disney Plus series is really good.
Is the Netflix stuff still on Netflix?
No, it's all
Disney.
on Disney.
It's all on
Plus.
Disney.
They
Yeah,
sold it
I
all
wasn't
to
sure
Every
where it
yeah.
ended
all
up.
the street level Marvel stuff moved to Disney.
Gotcha.
So in that show, like I don't want to spoil too much, but the Punisher's in it. Okay, so like
I know
spoilers,
that.
the
Yes.
Punisher's in it, and there is one point where the cops that all have
Yep.
Punisher logos and tattoos and stuff are like, "Hey, Punisher, like that's our guy, whatever." And he's like, "Bam, bam, bam," and then, like knocking them out and breaking their legs and
Yep.
stuff because it's like, dude, the Punisher's not for that. Like,
Yeah.
the people that worship him don't understand,
Yeah.
and the fact that they put that in the show that. The cops and stuff don't understand that like the Punisher is
The
not
police should not be rooting for vigilantes.
Correct.
but also the Punisher is the whole thing is like he's against corrupt people. He's,
he's
not
against
like
breaking the law.
yeah.
Any sort of breaking the law is you jaywalk in front of the Punisher.
Right,
You're gonna
like,
get knocked
he
out.
doesn't. He's the opposite of a spectrum, right? Like there's no like third-degree felony,
No.
or misdemeanors.
Either
It's
you pick
either
up-
broke a law,
You pick
or,
up that piece of trash, or I'm gonna break your fingers.
right.
And so in the show there are dirty cops. Again, surprise, surprise, spoiler alert. But like if you're a dirty cop, the Punisher's not gonna be like, yeah, good job. Like, no, you're bad.
gonna die.
Right? And so anyway, it's just really funny that they put that in this show because obviously it's a commentary on real life where the people worshiping the Punisher don't understand what the
It
Punisher
got
is
so bad,
for.
honestly, that Marvel had to change his logo.
Oh really?
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
rid of the traditional like skull
yeah.
logo. It's now something very different.
Oh, I didn't realize it was
Yeah.
changed.
That's
Okay.
weird because if a daycare paints a picture of Mickey Mouse on the wall, they'll sue them.
Right.
But
Marvel won't
if
sue.
people co-opt the Punisher logo,
They'll
they
change
just
it?
change the logo. Interesting.
Correct. Isn't that weird how that works?
Huh.
Or
Strange.
if someone wants to put Spider-Man on
That's
their
a real-
son's gravestone.
Yeah.
Oh God, I
Yeah.
forgot
Remember
about that.
that?
Yeah.
That's a
And they
real
would-
thinker.
Yeah. Strange.
Yeah.
Strange.
Anywho.
It's almost like they're never mind. Yeah, so he goes on the speed dating thing, and this is a very funny scene where he shows up.
If I were that kid's dad, I would put Steamboat Willie on the kid's gravestone.
Oh yeah, just sue me now.
Yeah.
Really try. He shows up dressed to the nines. He
I'd
was-
put Screamboat Willie on my.
Did you watch that?
Oh boy.
Okay.
Well, your
I was
kids
like-
are,
I
they
didn't know
watch
if-
horror movies.
I didn't know
They're-
if maybe the kids had seen it.
Yeah.
or what
it's
about the
insane.
competing Popeye horror movies?
There's
There's two.
I cannot believe and it's almost like they didn't even they had this ret to go.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
this was
They do.
as
They
soon
get,
as
they know they put it into production like a year before.
I can only imagine what the
public-
Superman one is going to be.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
You know. So he goes on the speed dating thing. He's dressed, it's Ben Affleck, right? And all of these women, which it's
Well, it's because he gamed the algorithm. That's what's great. It's not just based on visuals, but remember, so all the men's dating profiles are sent to the women before
Right,
the speed
right.
dating. So him, because of his abilities, he has been able to calculate what all the women want to hear for each one of them or whatever. And so he optimized the perfect profile. So
Use all the right keywords.
yeah, speed dating starts and
Without
all
lying.
he's not lying.
no, and all the women line up for him, and all the other guys.
That
are
is
just sitting
that
there
is such a
twiddling their
great
thumbs.
visual scene
Yeah.
where like you can see the line of women for Christian,
Yeah,
but
in the
like
background, it's like the
everybody,
guys are
all the
just like-
guys are just sitting there.
But pretty
But
quickly they learn.
It's also great because it's like he's clearly the best looking guy in the
Absolutely.
room. But then as soon as they start talking to him, they're just like,
Never mind.
never.
when he's dancing at that honky tonk and he's like 6'4", you realize like you remember how tall he is.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
Ben
yeah.
Affleck. It's just funny, and when like little cowboy goes up to him or whatever, it's like, dude,
Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you
doing?
But anyway, it's speed dating, so it's like they all talk to him, and this is a lot of the comedy, it comes in here, and he's talking to them about things where it's just like, oh, come on, dude.
Like deductions on your taxes,
Yeah.
and he keeps saying the same thing over
Yeah.
and over again.
His big
yeah.
pickup line is that he knows about this tax form.
Yeah.
Like,
What did he go? I think he asked this woman like, "How old are you?" And she says, "I'm 46 or 44." And he was like, "All right." No, that's
well,
good
she goes, "Do you want kids?" Or she goes,
Oh,
or
that's what-
whatever.
that's right,
And
that's
he's
right.
like, "How old are you?" And he goes, I guess anything is possible.
Anything's possible.
I mean, there are some comedic beats, but like they really lean heavily into the humor in the scene. But the thing is, like we learned from the first one, like he's alone and he doesn't have anyone to share his life with. And yes, he's really good at his job, but he's alone. And he has his brother that he met back up with, but we find out for these 8 years he hasn't even communicated with him.
Right.
So he's feeling very lonely, and this is his way to try to get out there. But he just does not have those people skills to get him what he wants.
And then we're reintroduced to Jon Bernthal. It's these scenes are twofolds where I thought he was going to see a kid, and that's definitely how they're playing it.
I thought
up.
he and his wife were getting a divorce, and she wanted to keep the kid, and he's like, "Come on, it's been whatever weeks. Like it's time for me to like." They do a good bait and switch with that, where you're like, "What are they talking about? A
also,
person?"
If he didn't have an enhancement in his underwear. Like that fucking thing was just bouncing around. Like every time he was walking, I was like, "Come, what's
well,
is
it's a
going
scene
on?"
where he's just walking around in his underwear, and they're like tight. So I think it's
like
hard to hide
they're
anything.
boxer briefs.
Like there's where's it gonna go, right?
Right.
But anyway, but at the end of this conversation on the phone, he's like, "But why do they have to be away from their mother for 8? Like they can't be away until 8 weeks. What about 6 weeks? And they can get to know their new owner for the rest of their lives 2 weeks early and all that." And you realize, oh, he's getting a puppy.
Trying to get a puppy.
So that was kind of a funny bait and switch. But that scene, like where he's hyping himself up, I thought it was funny, but then it just keeps going and going and going. I'm like, cut, please.
Nope.
So they did let them do their thing for a lot of these scenes.
They did. And then Christian gets the call that J.K. Simmons has been killed. So to
meet Medina, right? And the
is that what it
parking
was?
Structure or whatever? Because she gets the card for the accountant.
You're right.
She
calls the institute, knowing that
the handler will be
the
listening.
handler will listen, and then they set up this meeting, and then they kind of explain everything to Medina and Christian, who I thought met in the first movie. I guess they didn't, because they definitely played this like they didn't.
She's the one that's on the case where like the movie kind of bookends, I believe, with her. Throughout the movie, she's like, there was this crazy shootout thing with this mob, and all these people were dead or whatever.
And Christian or Ben Affleck saves J.K. Simmons' life.
Yeah, so she was there at that crime scene, I think, too.
Okay,
and that's how she knew about that. All that went down. So she was there, but they didn't like meet. But she was on that case. So anyway, but and again, going back to the institute thing, and like his handler, the one that spoilers for the first movie, but she ends up like
she was like the little girl that was with him.
She knew Christian as a kid and then grew up, and now he works with her on his cases and everything. But she has a tablet that she speaks with because she's nonverbal, an AAC device, and like my son just went for an appointment to get an AAC device last week. So it's just so cool to see these things in the real world and how they function and operate. Because again, they did their research, and like some people need these devices, some people are just non-social or nonverbal, but it's like you see again the spectrum presented where it's like they're not just going like, oh, this character does math, he has autism, right? Like they're doing research about their little tics and the overstimulation and the loud music and patterns and all that stuff. Yeah, so it's really cool.
So then now we're introduced to like these two other guys, this like Boston fish market thing. I almost said Boston Irish, which is ridiculous because that's the population of Boston.
We find out that the sniper who shot J.K. Simmons is like working at this fish market, which is a front for doing all sorts of nefarious
drug
things.
trafficking,
pretty much human trafficking is like their big thing,
right? And we see this guy. He's basically like, you weren't supposed to take that guy out. You're supposed to take her out. And now I've got it. He's, basically says, now I have to worry about this gal showing back up at my house. She's like a chainsaw. I don't want to worry about a chainsaw getting me when I'm coming out of the shower.
That was a good setup,
right? Setup for later in the movie.
But he's like, she's gonna remember me, and he's like, no, she won't.
She hasn't remembered you this entire time. She won't remember you, and she's okay. I do have questions about how this woman is portrayed. Okay. So we've got this assassin woman, right? She definitely, it feels like to me, she's supposed to be of Asian descent.
Oh, she's Hispanic.
I know, we know that, but like when we're first introduced to her, I don't know. Like her pigment is lighter than when we see her in those pictures.
I think some of it is the wigs. The hair keeps changing, and so I think it create.
You think the hair keeps? I thought the hair was the same the entire time.
Well, you see her at different points, and she's got different
yeah,
hair
sure,
throughout the movie.
I think it's just the look where it's kind of hard to tell 'cause she's always hiding her face and everything.
Yeah.
So I think that.
But then they put her in at the end of the movie. Spoilers. They put her in like an Asian restaurant, and she's speaking fluent. But they give a reason as to why she can do that.
Yeah, I don't think she's supposed to be like portrayed as Asian. I just think that it's like she's an assassin that is like has got that hairstyle that you see in a lot of the assassin movies,
like the short bob
hair.
hair.
She's hiding her face because she's trying to evade security cameras. She's very smart. We find out, and we're told why, but we find out she is intelligent, has these skills that she's acquired, and so she knows where all the cameras are. And so
except for one. One sneaky camera.
One selfie.
So Bernthal is what we think he's on a mission. He's talking to this very beautiful Russian woman.
This is great. This is like maybe my second favorite scene. The fact that he's like talking to this girl that she seems under duress. He doesn't have her at gunpoint, but she's clearly distressed, and she's like, "Don't hurt me." He keeps talking to her about movies and on and on. He's like, "Whoa," and he takes total offense. Why would you think I would hurt you? Like, I'm offended by this.
It's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
And he walks away.
There's bodies.
And steps over bodies after bodies and goes in a hallway. Bodies. So like at that point, I didn't know if she was like a call girl that he called for company or whatever. Like,
I think she was just in the.
No, she was, but like you at this point do not know who he's talking to, what this area is,
right?
And I thought like he just hired her and he's like talking to her, but he's scary and is venting to her.
Yeah.
But then you see that really he went and killed all these people and she was just there, and it's a really
great
good
reveal.
It's
really very
is,
funny. Yeah. And he gets a phone call from Christian, basically saying, "Hey, I need your help. J.K. Simmons was working this case. I need your help on this. How fast can you get to L.A.?" And he was just like, "Fine."
He's like, "It's been 8 years."
Right. And he shows up and they lay this plan out. And again, like,
I like that he shows up and Medina's there. I like when he pulls up in his Uber or whatever, and then he walks up and he's like, "Who's this?" And she's like, "Hi, I'm deputy
chief
director of the
Medina," and he's like,
or whatever.
Looks at
and he looks at him. He's like,
"Can I talk to you for a second?" Yeah. He's like, "Why are you involving the law?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?"
Because it's like, these two are both assassins.
Yeah,
that is the funny part, and like. This is a movie. It's not real life, right? Like, it's crazy that she would work with assassins, but it does come up for very funny, like not knowing his brother's background and even knowing Christian's background.
Christian's also kind of, I mean, he's not a good guy.
No,
I mean, he is. I guess he is.
He's a murderer, though. Yeah. He's an assassin, right? Like, so here's the thing, though. In the way that they kind of get around her working with Christian is we should mention that the handler at the Institute has been feeding her tips, and that's what's helped her to bust all these people, and she's climbed the ladder.
It's what got J.K. Simmons into the position that he was in, and now she is on the receiving end of the same stuff.
So even though she doesn't necessarily agree with their methods, and we see that come up throughout the movie, like, they've put away a lot of really, 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 really bad people with their help, right? Mm-hmm. And so they kind of just explain that to why she would even talk to the guy.
Right.
And she goes, when she meets him, she's like, "Do you like puzzles?" And it's like, boy, does he ever. Haven't you seen the first one?
Yeah, he did all kinds of puzzles. So they end up calling these three escorts, and they come to the room, and basically Jon Bernthal says, "Look, I don't care about you. Like, who's the guy? Like, if something were to go wrong in this room, there's a guy that you have to call. Who is the guy?" Well, they start speaking in Spanish, and of course, both of them can speak Spanish. And Affleck's like, "Tomas." His name is Tomas, and I like that. Like,
I like
them
when
where
they
he's
show
just kind
up
of like, "What are you doing?" Like,
I like when they show up and they go, "Oh, you're the guy, the fun guy," or whatever, because Affleck's like in the corner stoked.
Yeah,
it's just a very funny offhanded.
So Tomas, the two of the gals,
two of them leave,
like,
and
we're
one
not doing this.
Is like,
I'll give you the information. Yeah. I'm only doing this because I think she says that they don't have kids, referring to the other two.
Like,
escorts.
they don't understand,
right?
And so, we'll find out more.
And
why.
Affleck gives her like a bunch of money.
Yeah. Well, and I love that Jon Bernthal, like, he's like, "Pay the woman," right?
And he's like,
and then she goes like, "I'm risking my life for this," and he's like, "Come on!" And
he just hands like this
money
wad
bags.
Of money.
Hands this wad. Yeah.
So Tomas shows up, and the brothers beat the tar out of him. And
well, I like that. Like, it wasn't supposed to go on exactly like that. They were supposed to like. Kind of kidnap him and just like tie him up or whatever. But Bernthal punches him and he like wobbles off.
He flips over the railing.
Yeah, he goes, "I guess I punched him harder than I thought." So they throw him in the back of Medina's car, and she's just kind of like, "What are we doing? Like, this is ridiculous." And they end up going to J.K. Simmons' house that he rented, and they look at all the pictures, and Affleck has already like put together certain pieces of this puzzle.
I liked it. So when they first meet, she's spent all this time putting things up on the board and all this stuff, and she's like, this, and how does this tie together, blah blah. And he's sitting on the table like tapping his fingers, and she's like, but this person.
That's a good.
And he
that's a
goes
good
like,
scene.
are you finished? And she goes, finished with what? He's like, finished doing whatever you're doing. And she goes, okay, why? So I can start doing what I need to do.
Right.
And then she falls asleep on the couch, and you wake up and everything's rearranged, because again, he looks at the world differently. He looks at patterns, which we see throughout the film. And so he's like, you're putting things how you think they would be, but that's not how it goes, right? And he explains the whole thing about this person.
Well, they're looking at this.
on their tax
The main picture is this
family.
A family, yeah. And then so we're trying to track this family. That's
mother,
what we're
father,
doing.
daughter, right? Or mother, father, son. Sorry.
Son, yeah. So he's just like piecing it all together. And
this person filed these tax returns, and something like this person spoke Spanish or whatever, and they filed this and filed with a child on this one. He's put together all these pieces in a way that she would have never even imagined.
Yeah, they go to that pizza joint, and this is where they get the name of Tomas, or they get the name of the hotel. And
he finds out what this whole trafficking situation and all this. And this was a funny scene. I liked this, where he goes in and basically talks to this owner about all the taxes. This guy's like, I know every financial. He's like, you've got enough for, you sold, let's just say like 1.1 million pizzas, but you only ordered 900,000 boxes.
Right.
Just throwing these numbers out there. But he's like, this doesn't add up. And he's like, well, blah, blah, blah. I donate to charity and all this stuff. And he's like, you're laundering money. Tell me who it's to. Like, very matter of fact. And he ends up beating the crap out of these
all
guards
of them
and this guy and breaking his arm or whatever. And then Medina's like, I don't do this. I can't do this. And he goes, you're not doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm doing it.
So matter of fact, that's the comedy of even like the first one. I like that understated comedy.
I think
where,
of that scene when he helps that older couple out and gives them like not a tax shelter, but like helps them with their taxes.
Yeah.
And then the older guy's like, you can come out and shoot on our land. And he was like, okay.
Yeah.
And he's setting it all up, and the wife's like, man, that's like really far away. And the husband's like, there's no way he's gonna make that shot. And he just explodes like all of the melons or whatever. So this is the scene I liked, where Bernthal's like, okay, well, I think I know your person didn't kill that one or that one. And they're both, and the gal's like, Medina's like, how do you know that? He's like, man, it's just an educated guess. Like, I'm just
and she's
guessing.
like, no. And he's like, what? I didn't say anything.
She walks away, and Affleck's like, why did you confess to capital murder? And he's like, I didn't confess anything.
Yeah, I didn't actually technically say
yeah,
anything.
I didn't say anything.
Just pointed.
Yeah, right.
So I just gestured.
Yeah, I just gestured.
And it's like just a step too far. She's already working with Christian Wolf, which is like, again, he's an assassin.
Yeah.
And then now this guy's a murderer for some really bad people, right? And so it's like, she's like, no, I'm out. And then she goes to get in her car, and you hear banging on the trunk. Oh, Tomas is
still in the trunk.
And she's like, what am I going to do? What if I get pulled over? And I like that again. Matter of fact, Christian calls up the handler and is like, I need you to stop make every light green from here to wherever.
And call in
a fake robbery
or something,
and whatever. And matter of fact, he's like, you're good.
Yeah, and then she kind of like disappears from the movie for the most part.
Well, they never really do tell you how they get rid of that guy.
No, they bring him in. They bring him into the. Remember that lawyer scene?
Oh,
and then they kill him.
Yeah.
They brought him in because she goes, I'm done. I'm doing this the right way. But so she brings this guy in, but then his lawyer's like, yeah, he got beat up and all this, and there's no proof that he did anything. And then they lay it out, and there's like, no, this, whatever. And
he's like, fine, I'll sign
and
the
last
papers.
person that worked for this guy that was killed and blah blah blah. So you can work with us and get immunity. But meanwhile, now the fish market assassin guy, you see him up on a rooftop across the way, and he's got this guy in the scope.
Right.
And as soon as he's about to sign a paper, he'll work with them.
Blam.
Yeah.
And shoots the lawyer, and Medina and the other ADA or whoever get away. So now the boys are kind of on their own. Like, their boys are working this case. They find out that there's another murder where the father of the daughter that they're looking for ends up getting shot in the face.
Father of the son they're looking for.
Yeah.
No, I think no.
Talking about the old guy.
The
in
old
the kitchen?
guy is the old guy is the father of the wife.
Oh, he's okay. He was.
Oh, I thought he was supposed to be the father.
No, he's right, because they killed the fish market boss guy killed the husband.
Okay.
Yes.
So that makes sense.
Yes, he's the because these people have been missing for like 13 years.
He does
or
have the
something.
picture of the family, but he was quite a bit older, so it makes
Everybody
sense.
has the exact same.
The exact same
Yeah.
picture. Yeah,
Only
lots
one
of
photo
prints.
was ever taken.
It's the Sarah Connor picture.
It is
that
the Sarah
everybody
Connor
has that
picture, yeah.
The same picture. So no.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess John gave that to Kyle, so he has got that. But
Yeah.
that picture pops up all over the
all the
place.
time. And then she's got it. Like
Yeah,
doesn't
everybody has it. She just loved. She loved the
Did
way
they
she
ever
looked in that photo.
Did they ever show? Did they show them people taking the picture?
Of this movie or
No,
John
no,
with Sarah Connor?
like of that.
Yeah, they showed
is
it
it in
in
the first?
Terminator 2, I think.
Did
or
they
the
take
end
when
of
they were at a
Terminator.
barbecue or something?
I don't remember.
I
It's
thought
her.
it was-
It's her with like wearing like white and like had like a white bandana.
I thought that was like one of the last shots of T2.
Maybe that was the last shot of the first Terminator.
Might be the first one. I can't remember, but I think they're
Like,
at a
I
barbecue
think
or
it's her
something, right?
driving away.
And someone takes a picture. of her.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah. So now this guy's dead. They've used facial recognition because they found a mass grave. They've used facial recognition on some of the bodies, and we find out the husband in this picture.
This is why you don't do that. Those then and now
I
pictures
know, I
on
know.
Facebook, man.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. We find out that the husband in that picture is dead. So now we're down to the son, who we also have a picture of, but he's older and like kind of hanging onto a fence. And Affleck just ascertains
Who
from
took that picture?
That's a great.
That's
Again,
what I was like.
great question.
Who took the picture of the kid on the other side of the prison fence?
I know.
Like, where did that come from?
But from that picture, Affleck ascertains that this kid is autistic.
Yeah,
Just from the picture,
just from the picture.
a non-moving picture.
Yeah, let me think for a second. I'm trying
You
to
ever
figure
heard
out.
of gaydar? It's like oddar.
I'm trying to think.
Spectar.
Yeah.
I don't know how he figured it out. I can't remember why. If there's something
Because
along the
Bernthal says
clues.
he's like, how do you know? How do you know he's like you? What are you just guessing? Like, what do you gotta? Because he's. That's why we're going after this kid is because
Yeah.
Affleck's like he's
Which
like
is also
me.
like, so like if he didn't have autism, you'd be like,
This kid.
No, I mean, I think obviously he wants to go save all the kids and everything, but I do think
but
there was like,
mostly
Yeah.
but I
the
think
ones
there's
with autism.
Just the one with autism.
no, but I do think that he's obviously there can be things that feel personal to him. Like,
Sure.
I can relate to this. Like, this is a kid that was, wayward. I mean, and his-
children are on a spectrum of how much I would like to save them.
hey, he can't. It's like Superman. He can't be everywhere.
Yes, he can. Superman can be everywhere.
It's not very super, then is it?
This is where we get again. So we get this scene that we talked about of the two guys, both of them sitting on top of the Airstream.
Definitely not a green screen.
Definitely not a green screen at all. And they decide to go out to get, Bernthal's like, let's go get drunk. And Affleck's like, okay. So they go to this like honky tonk bar.
Love this scene.
This is great.
It's so good because you see Christian the whole time be very matter of fact, very serious, right? And he just doesn't have this.
He doesn't have it.
He doesn't have the people skills, right? He
right.
doesn't know how to do that, and so he goes to this bar, and this waitress is not a waitress.
No, she's like a patron,
Patron comes over and is clearly firing on him, and she's like, "Hey, we're picking songs.
What's your
from
favorite
music
song? Enter Sandman by Metallica.
And they're at a cowboy bar.
She's like, I
was really hoping the band was going to
Well,
play.
I thought the band was going to
country-
play a
like a
country
country version
Yes,
of
I did
Enter
too. That would have
Sandman.
been
Yeah,
that
that
would
would
have
be
been
great.
cute. But anyway, so like she's like, "What's your second favorite song?" And he picks something else, right? That's not a country song. And she's like, "All
I
right."
think the first one was by Coldplay.
That's what
it was like
Appalachian.
Appalachian
It was something else
by
and then-
Coldplay.
and then he said Metallica, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's like, "All right, cool." And then Jon Bernthal's like, "What are you doing? Like, come on."
He's like, you had
man.
it. You had
yeah,
it. But if you like, what I love about that scene is you can tell that Christian is down on himself because he realizes that he kind of messed that up.
yeah, he's been lonely.
but
Went to the date.
but Bernthal immediately is like, "You're good. Like you did everything right. Like don't." So like while he is kind of busting his chops about screwing it
Yeah.
up with this gorgeous woman, he's also just like, "We're good. Like it's okay. Like don't worry about it." So then
But then
we
he
see-
hones in on a line
They're
dance
square
starts
dancing,
happening. Line dancing.
What's the
Square
difference?
dancing.
Square dancing, they call out
It's like
what you're going to
do-si-do
do
and
next.
grab your partner.
Oh,
Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. No, they're
Line
doing.
I
dancing.
honestly never knew that.
There are prescribed moves, but and everybody just kind of knows them
What
with
they
that
are.
song.
If you go to a country bar, club, or whatever, it's like there's the dance floor. People all know the dances that go with the.
Something tells me the punk rock metal kid won't fit in well at the country honky tonk.
You never know.
That's me.
Just wear a big cowboy hat and boots and see what happens. But anyway,
Hank
this
Williams
scene,
the third.
I guess that's true. You're not
He's-
wrong.
He's a punk rock metal kid.
Yeah,
He also
that's-
has an old school country band.
That is very true.
So
I
there.
didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done.
Go see one of those shows.
Yeah. Okay.
But I love this though because he hones in on. He sees the song starts and he watches everyone dancing. And because of his skills that he has, he has that pattern recognition. Which again, with people with autism, a lot of them can find these patterns very quickly, and it's like a comfort thing that things are predictable, right?
Yeah.
Because the hard thing is the unpredictability and not knowing how to get your emotions out or wrap your head around like, I can't predict it. It's too chaotic. And, their brains are wired in a different way. So when he sees the pattern and it's the girl that he was talking to and he blew it, but he's like, I can do this.
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
how I
yeah.
can connect with her
Yep.
through patterns because she's clearly enjoying this pattern of dancing. And so he goes out there and he's looking around the dance floor and
He's a little awkward at first,
a
but
little
once
awkward,
he
but
sees it,
she's welcoming. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, she likes that he's out there. Like, man,
it is
that's
funny though. I do forget how big he is.
right?
As a
'Cause
human
'cause
being.
he's like
Like,
6'4"
he's
or
a
something. Yeah, he's a
massive
big
man.
guy. So anyway, he starts dancing and he picks it up and he just nails it. First time he's ever even done it. He's never line danced before, never heard this song, whatever. But he sees the patterns and he just hits it out of the park. And she's like, "Yeah, that was great." And then
old
our little
old
5
cool guy.
6, tough guy comes
Right.
over and like, "You don't dance with another man's woman."
And she's like, "What are you
she's
talking
like,
about?
"No."
I'm not your
And
woman.
first of all, it's funny because she's like, "First of all, you're from."
You're from like Glendale."
Right, I mean, whatever. It's very like clearly he's like kind of a poser cowboy,
yeah.
trying to be all tough. And she's like, "And second, I'm not your woman." And and so he starts he just running his mouth at Affleck, and Affleck's like, "I really don't want to do this."
What I love about this is he kind of like leans in and starts like insulting him.
Yeah.
And he was just in.
Well, because what he says, what's really funny, he's like, "My brother was not having a good time, and he's about
He's
to have
about to have a really good
time." Like, that was a funny moment. So this guy, so then you hear, or Bernthal is like, he's like, "Yeah, that's my brother. He's having fun." He sees this go down. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" He jumps over the table, and all of a sudden you see
It's a
one
freeze
guy,
frame. Like it freezes on him, like leaping over the
Yeah.
thing, and then it cuts to the
one
outside
guy
of the
going
bar.
through a window,
Yeah.
and then 2 guys go through a window, and then a truck just like blasting off out of
peels
there,
out, yeah.
and they're both like, "Yeah, that was awesome." And
And of course he's got this girl's number on his hand.
yeah, and he's like, "Oh man, there's nothing better than the feel of punching someone in the face that deserves it." And then I think Affleck is like, "Well, there's one thing that feels better,"
Yeah,
and he
right.
shows him getting the digits.
Which I think was great.
Yeah, it was
it's very good.
Great brotherly scene. Again, the whole representation of autism and the patterns and how he was able to do that was really cool.
Yeah.
Loved it.
So basically what happens is Medina cracks this case. She figures out that there is this woman. They
goes to a
they
hospital.
Well, they do the facial recognition, and they
And it says not identified.
right. So Affleck, Medina says there's no other cameras. He was like, okay, shut up. Like, let me deal with this. Kicks it over to the X-Men, and they find all these different cameras, and they end up finding a woman taking a selfie in front of one of these cameras that captures this woman's face clearly. So they have to break into this woman's. It is a very long hacking scene where and I do think it is interesting though, because everything they're saying feels probably true.
It seems, at least feels plausible.
Yeah, like there's a printer
And
that
it is long, but I like that it's not just the standard, like, we gave it to
Tick,
the
tick, tick,
hackers,
tick, tick,
click,
tick,
click,
tick.
click, here's the answer.
No, they
Right.
explained what they were
Right.
doing, and it really was clever. And being an IT person and knowing how the things work, like here's an unsecured printer, and you get in through that IP address, and then from there you can go to this device,
go to the
and
camera, you
this,
can go
and-
to the
and
doorbell.
The webcam turns on, the green light comes on, like
Yep.
because it would be like you see when your camera's activated. Like they do pay attention to those little details. It was a fun scene, and then the comedy of like her TV volume's going up, the doorbell, the printer's printing a test
what I think
page,
is
and-
also an interesting. I don't even know if it's a commentary as much as it kind of is, where everything in our house is connected to something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
like it's all connected to the same stuff.
My stove.
Mine
is
too.
Wi-Fi.
your
yeah.
refrigerator's Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
right?
Oh,
because
yeah,
I got
that is cool.
has a TV screen on it. But but yeah, the stove same way. Like you could theoretically
Preheat it before you got home.
preheat it before you got home. Although honestly, it preheats so fast it doesn't.
Same.
My water heater's on Wi-Fi.
Is it really?
Yeah.
My Wi-Fi is on Wi-Fi.
Can you control it from like if you're out of?
Yeah, you can set it down, and or
Interesting.
you can see if there's
Do you have Nest? Is that what
I
it
do
is?
have no. It's not like that. That's for the furnace's Nest.
Yeah,
but, no, the water heater you can just turn the up and down the temperature, or it has like detection if water is on the ground around it. Like it will tell you that there's water in the basement or whatever. I don't know.
Interesting.
But everything is now.
Yeah, it's wild. But
But it makes for movies and TV shows. Like again, if you like these movies, either of you and everyone listening, watch Scorpion. It's a really fun show.
Well, it's-
and they everything is like, oh, we can. There's a back door in this and this and this is open and we can do that. Like the whole thing is like a Rube Goldberg machine.
It's what
of
makes
hacking and
horror movies impossible now.
yeah.
Like it's impossible to be, like Hard Eyes, where you're just kind of like, well, just call the cops. Like your phone works everywhere. I saw a trailer for the I Know What You Did Last Summer requel, and it was just kind of like, how are you going to pull this off? Like you have to almost set slasher movies in the 80s now. You can't do it.
I don't know. That's one I just don't have any love for. Where I'm just like, I don't care about that one.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, they got Freddy.
Are they doing
Prinze
Final Destination too?
Yeah.
Final Destination, and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Thanks, Scream.
Yep.
On Halloween. So we figured out that
she goes to the hospital.
Yeah,
gets the files on this patient, and they give you the exposition dump that this woman was in a car accident.
Her
she lost
brain
her
got
memory,
messed up.
And she was all bandaged up, and they had to do facial reconstruction. At this point,
okay, did they say? So that makes more sense.
Yes, facial reconstruction.
Okay.
So at this point, whenever they went there and they showed a patient in bandages,
Yeah,
I
I
turned
was
to
like-
Katie. I'm like, that's the hitman right
Yeah,
there.
100%. She turns and faces the camera. You're like, oh,
Yeah, right. Dun dun dun. But anyway, so now now J.K. Simmons in the opening scene of this movie goes, and it's funny because the acronym is ASS.
Ass.
I'm like, I had never heard of it, but I go, he didn't say ASS, but he goes, have you heard of acquired savant syndrome? And I go, that's ass.
That's ass. But it's the same thing that Affleck has.
No, he's not acquired.
He didn't acquire it. He was
It's
born
acquired.
with it.
You go through a
This
trauma.
lady had head injury.
That's right.
That triggered the onset of this.
You're right.
Calling Affleck an ass? Come on.
I mean, sometimes.
So
depending on what version of Affleck we did.
Jennifer
Or
Garner
era,
probably
yeah,
does.
probably.
Yeah.
Jennifer
So-
Love Hewitt or Jennifer Lopez probably does too.
Yeah.
So the car accident gave her this traumatic brain injury along with the facial stuff. So she got the facial reconstruction, and then her acquired savant syndrome over time, like quickly, she was able to get these skills. She's playing chess, and then she's getting all these
Fighting
things,
and-
and then fighting, and she really leaned toward the violent side. So she's learning how to fight, use weapons, and she's getting really aggressive. And so we find out that she broke out of the hospital, really badly damaged a guard, took his gun, and they haven't seen her since.
Yeah, she's like a ghost, basically.
In the show.
Oh yeah. Ooh. I see what you did there. Pretty good. So we figured out that the son is being held in, I think it was El Salvador.
It
I
was?
think is where the kid is.
Yeah.
In a camp in El Salvador.
Where he belongs.
Oh God.
That's just for the people on the YouTube comments that hate us. I'm just throwing them a bone. Where he belongs.
Oh God. So I think at this, Bernthal gets a hit, gets a call from his Russian
His handler.
boss
Yeah.
guy that says
Not
we have-
Michael Rooker.
not Michael Rooker, not who's the guy from the
thing.
He's playing Metamorpho. He's
Oh,
Barry. He's
Yeah,
like
you're talking about
he's like a
You're
harder
talking about
ver-
the guy from Death of a Unicorn?
yeah.
That's fine.
Yes. So they put a hit on Medina, and Affleck sees this, and he was like, "We gotta go. Like, we gotta, get out of here." Medina's in trouble. Bernthal's like, "I didn't know. Like, I wasn't gonna take the hit. I wasn't gonna take, whatever." And then we get this fight sequence where Medina has openly said, "This isn't me. Like, this world is not me." But she is able to hold her own against like this highly trained assassin.
Yeah, she's got skills.
I thought of it kind of like at the end of Sinners when they open the barn doors and you're just kind of like, yeah, here's the fight. Oh, none of you are going to make it out of here alive and you're going to die quick. All of you. So Medina holds her own for a while. Christian is cruising. I mean, like flying down in what looks like a bat cycle. Like this thing is 200 miles an hour.
And you see like they pull out these streets and like you see them zipping right down the middle. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. And Medina ends up getting
Chekhov's motorcycle from the very
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah,
in
you
his
see in the
army.
beginning,
I'm
yeah,
like, I
right,
don't
right.
remember in the first movie him having a motorcycle.
You know what
in
he
his
did have in the
camper.
first movie?
What's that?
Action Comics #1.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I
like
thought that was
it
pretty
was like
funny.
one of the payments that
that was
that
good.
he got.
But in this one, it opens and he has a motorcycle.
That was a good line from the first one too. When Anna Kendrick's like, "Is that a Jackson Pollock?" And he was like, "Mm-hmm." And it's just like he's so matter of fact, and she's like, "This is unbelievable."
Yeah.
So he gets to the, he's dressed like Batman. Like he has like, it's like a biker outfit, but it's like, black gloves, black jacket, all that stuff. And we realize that the woman in these pictures is this woman now, and
Dun dun dun.
yeah, dun dun dun. So she just leaves, right? While he's like tending to her. Oh, he says, "I know where your son is," and she basically is like, "I don't care anymore."
Well, she sees the picture on the wall after she.
And then she Oh, that's right. So she remembers that the guy from the fish market is the one who shot her husband and took their son and left her for
So she
dead.
heads out after him, basically.
Right.
And so he basically tries to stop the bleeding on Medina, and you hear the sirens, and he's like, people are on their way.
Right.
And then he or Bernthal
They
calls
both-
and asks to
So this
call off the hit.
Bernthal goes, or they go. This is the scene where they go back to the streamline. What are those called? Airstream
Airstream, yeah.
camp, not on a green screen. Not on
It's
a green screen.
only when they're on top.
No, yeah, right.
Okay, is that Airstream lot supposed to be he owns all those, or only people with the same
I think
vehicle
it's
can park?
I thought it was like
took
an Airstream.
It was
lot.
the Airstream dealership.
Oh,
And that he keeps his Airstream there because
blend in.
it's hiding in plain
Sure.
sight.
Also, we know that Airstream thing is full of guns and all
Sure.
kinds of stuff. How did he get that across the border?
Oh, he's really good looking. I don't. Yeah. How did they get the bus full of kids back across the border?
It's a great-
There's
Great question.
They
infinite.
did this while Biden was president. That's how. How you like me now, YouTube comments?
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
You were in for a minute, and I switched it around.
There are infinite questions about going from the U.S. to Mexico and back to the U.S.
This is not
So
1997.
you're not
Well,
supposed
in
to
El
ask-
Salvador, they had to go through like 4 countries to get back.
But yeah, I mean that part. Whenever they do stuff like that in a different country under totally different jurisdiction, there's border patrol and everything,
Right.
And then they have to go back. I'm always like, what? How do you
got
explain all
you got
this?
a bus full of kids
A bus
who I
full.
don't know were American.
No.
Like, none of them were.
No, I don't think any of them.
So you had to get them across the border.
Yeah, it's just. I mean,
I just think of like
now. What we do have to say is that we've seen these movies now. This is Christian Wolf.
Yeah.
He's very smart.
That's also true.
I mean, he's got a plan for things.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's an easy thing, but if anyone's going to be able to do it, maybe he had some crazy plan.
That's fair. I can accept
but
that.
it is not explained in the film.
No, I can accept that part.
Yeah.
I wanted to know when Medina when he goes to her house,
Yeah.
and he's putting pressure on her so she doesn't bleed
Yeah.
out, and then you hear all the sirens. They never show you how he got out of there.
No.
Like for him to leave, he would have to stop applying pressure to this wound that's going to cause her to bleed out. So if you wait for the emergency personnel to show up, he's going to get arrested.
He reached into his bat utility belt, and they gave a little like smoke bomb and a little
No, I think
super glue.
what you're supposed to think is like he put pressure on it, and basically he would be like, hold this, they're going to be right here, and then he snuck off.
Yeah,
Like,
hold your guts in place. Wow, because she does. She stabs her, and I thought she like drug it across her guts, and I was like, well, you don't really come back from that. But it's like
No,
maybe
she
she
just-
just stabbed her.
It was just a regular
stabbing
wound.
Yeah. So we get one of my favorite tropes in action movies is the suit up scene.
Suit up and all the guns and checking them all.
Putting all the vests on, checking everything, and then loading up, and they go out and just murk everybody.
I like in these action movies though that because it's so cool. It's just like cocking guns in an action movie,
Which
they
is the
always
dumbest
have to
thing.
do all the cocking and look through it. And it's like, wouldn't you have like prepped these like just a day in advance or something? Like they always have to go through the whole checking sequence right before they go out. It's like, aren't these good to go?
Also, stop racking the slide with a magazine in there, because you're just wasting around
waste
every
not, want
time.
not.
Every time, that drives me insane.
When you run out of bullets, like Jon Bernthal does, it's like, well, did you rack one that you didn't need to? But
See,
you wish you had that
one.
bullet.
You lost one.
But no, this is a very cool scene. I
This
mean,
is great.
They go with a
It's fun. It's funny, you watch Beverly Hills Cop or Die Hard, and there's no system to how they move through like a room, right?
Yeah.
Like Die Hard or Lethal Weapon. Like Riggs is just like a bull in a china cabinet with people. They have
hole
got
in a china cabinet.
China cabinet?
yeah.
It's
It's
either a very large cabinet or a very small bowl.
Bull in a
it could-
china shop.
It could be both.
Could
be both.
I imagine a bull just getting shoved into
Pushed
this little
into the-
cabinet and like I can't.
Or
get out.
you take a tiny bowl and you put them in
it's
there.
a tiny bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like
That
a
makes
red,
sense.
Maybe it's a red,
It's a Red
Bull.
Bull.
Ah,
Yeah. Where now they have basically adopted all of like room clearing, and so like these are
like
real,
John Wick. Those John
very
Wick
much like John
choreography,
Wick.
the action scenes are amazing. The John Wick 3 with
Extraction
the dogs
is the other one.
Okay. Halle Berry though, and the dogs.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
all the choreography of the way they move and everything is really cool. And the reloading.
Yeah, Extraction. If you haven't seen, it's on Netflix.
I haven't.
It's very good.
No.
Like it's a very good
Aren't
action.
there two
movie.
of those now?
Oh, is there?
Isn't that? The
Yeah, I
one
think
that
they
got
made a sequel. I
Oh,
never
I
watched
had
the
no
sequel,
idea.
but the first one was fun.
Yeah, it was a big action movie. Like it was. So like they're doing this. It's a 2-man group, and they're clearing room by room. You can see them exchanging nonverbal cues, where it's just like, hey, I'll tap on the shoulder, like we're moving, and things like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Like these are all things that I've been taught,
They
like
reload,
how to do. Yeah,
you know?
they
That's the
do
thing.
reload. Yeah,
It makes action movies so much more realistic and believable. Like I know they do crazy stuff, and they dodge a lot of bullets from a lot of people, whatever. But like when the old action movies, when the bullets just never ended, it's like, come on, that's kind of ridiculous.
It's the old Dirty Harry. Like, did I fire six shots or only 5? Oh, I don't know.
All the excitement, I kind of
well,
forgot myself.
That's right. You feeling lucky?
The best part about that scene, never stops eating the hot dog.
Nope. Eats it the whole time.
Eating the hot dog the whole time.
Yep. It's great. It's so
Just
good.
Beautiful.
Walking down the street, just chomping on the hot dog.
It's just what I do
You
today.
got blood on you. That's not blood.
Yeah.
So they end up taking out all
Sorry
of these
for the
guys.
YouTube commenters. The best part about the movie is that the serial killer villain is gay. Sorry.
Who also, that guy comes back to play like a police captain in a later Dirty
Yeah.
Harry movie. which
Oh,
is,
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I think he's in. I think he might be in like 3 or 4 of them. They keep bringing him back.
Oh no, the guy that you're talking about is the bank
black-
robber.
Is the black guy that he's shooting that
he
keeps
comes
coming back
as different
other
characters.
characters.
Yes,
Yeah.
the not Zodiac killer comes
Yeah.
back as like police captain or something.
Yeah.
So they end up killing all of these guys. Affleck saves the kid at the very last possible second, of course. Earlier in the movie, they're having this discussion about if Bernthal should get a dog, right? And he's just like, he's explaining,
Affleck's like, do you have a permanent residence?
No.
Are you home every
No.
2 weeks? Whatever. You are a cat person.
You are a cat person.
And he's like, oh, come on.
And then of course,
Stop the bus. Stop the bus.
they've got this bus full of kids, and Bernthal walks up with a cat, like he saves a cat, and they end up like that's kind of how this thing ends. Medina gets the collar. This woman, the unnamed Edith. They give her a name and stuff because they realize who she is.
Let me look here. I do have it pulled up. N-A?
Okay.
N-A-I with an accent I don't recognize. S.
Okay.
So-
Anise.
Something.
Yeah, I'll say Anise.
The assassin.
The assassin. We end up seeing the guy from the fish market is in Costa Rica. He's taking a shower, steps out of the shower, and we know she's there.
Yeah.
And
That was a good cut too. If you're
her-
paying attention
her
to be
walking around with this giant knife.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you see, he's got a whole bunch of money and a gun on the bed or
yeah.
whatever. Like
he comes out of the shower and she's sitting there
Yeah.
on the bed, and has torn the picture in half. Which to me is just kind of her being like, I'm out. Like I'm not gonna get involved with this kid. Affleck and Bernthal drop the kid.
Oh, I
off.
like that. Oh, when he's getting out of the shower, he calls the handler, the
Russian
handler, whoever, the not Michael Rooker,
Yeah.
not Anthony Kerrigan, and he says like, you said that the contract was good until it's closed, and he's like, or until I'm terminated, but I'm clearly very alive and well, and he's like, it will be done.
Yeah,
To be
click.
rectified shortly.
Yeah.
Rectified shortly.
I
That's
love
that's a
that
great
kind of
line.
without saying
yeah,
it, yeah.
rectified shortly.
Yep.
And she
then
ends up
she's-
killing him. Affleck and Bernthal drop the kid off at the institute. And
Xavier's.
Xavier's
Yes.
Institute. And then they kind of have like this brotherly moment where he's like, hey, I rented this place. We want to go for a hike. And they're both like, yeah, let's do it.
And it's just really touching because the whole movie, Bernthal's been struggling with this. Like, do you even like care about me? Like, you're so matter of fact, and do you actually want to see me and all this? So for him to go out and like take that in and then actually invite him to go on a thing just for fun, because like I think it would be fun.
It would be fun. And that's how this one ends. So it is tonally 180 degrees.
It's very
from the
different.
first one. And it is very different. And I noticed that immediately.
It doesn't ruin it. I mean, it's a fun, enjoyable movie, but that first one I thought was tonally perfect, where it was serious, good action. The humor is downplayed.
Subtle humor.
Yeah, very subtle and very funny, but very subtle. I like the, Anna Kendrick and Christian's banter and all that stuff. This one, I mean, if you want more of a comedy, this
if you like, I know I joked about Midnight Run, but like if you like Midnight Run, if you like those buddy cop
more of
movies,
a buddy cop, yeah.
This is right up your alley with a little bit of John Wick thrown in there.
Yeah.
Just I guess we've got the Ballerina coming out this summer, right?
Yeah, it is coming out sometime. I don't know what the release date is, but I did see something was coming out.
Yeah, more John Wick.
Yeah, and apparently I haven't seen 4. I wasn't.
You didn't see 4?
No, I was out of town or
highly
something.
recommend 4.
I want to see it, but apparently he shouldn't be coming back for 5, but he is. So I don't know. That's what
could be
hear.
a flashback.
I think it's because we see the Ballerina in 4.
Okay.
And it's Ana de Armas.
Mm-hmm.
So
see her in 3 too. That's where she's in.
Oh, then it's 3.
3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could do a flashback
with Angelica Houston as the head of the. Yeah, that's 3.
Yeah.
Because I've seen 3 and I just rewatched it. I'm gonna watch 4 soon.
4 is Donnie Yen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just heard that like he shouldn't be coming back, but apparently he's coming back. So I don't know what the circumstances are. But
yeah, it's great.
We'll see.
This is also a lot of fun. It's a perfect time for this movie. Unfortunately, I don't know that they thought that Sinners was going to do what it was going to do.
I think this would have been a better time for this movie had Sinners not came out last week.
Yeah.
Sinners is set to beat this one in its second week, so
it won't win next week. Next week's a big Marvel movie, so
there's no chance.
Gonna get,
but it's
chewed up.
Gonna get a little buried, but I guess it will probably be on HBO Max soon. So catch it in the theaters or on Max.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it for this one. Let's go around the table, and everyone can say where to find them.
This is Joe. You can follow me on the Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Threads, and on Letterboxd at Joey Butts, BUTTS21.
This is Kevin. Follow me on Twitter at Kevin R. Brackett.
And this is Tom. You can follow me on Blue Sky and Threads at Tom O'Keefe Jr. or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/Real Spoilers or on Patreon. There you go. Patreon.com/Real Spoilers. $5 a month to get all sorts of bonus content, and we like you extra. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, Mardukas gives Walsh $300,000.
Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, 'cause we already warned you.